Frank Bompensiero, October 29, 1905. February 10, 1977, was a mafia hitman and longtime caporegime in the Los Angeles crime family. In 1956, with the death of boss Jack Dragna, Bompensiero was demoted to the rank of soldier by the new boss, Frank Desimone. He was the older brother of associate Salvatore Sam Bompensiero. Bompensiero made a name for himself for the many killings he committed on the orders of his superiors. Jimmy Fratianno, a close associate, once said that Bompensiero had buried more bones than could be found in the Brontosaurus room of the Museum of Natural History. Early life and family. Bompensiero's family was from Porticello, Sicily. His family immigrated to the United States in 1904 along with the Balistrieri family. Frank Balistrieri would eventually lead the Milwaukee crime family. After the family settled in Milwaukee, Bompensiero was born on October 29, 1905. As a child, he attended Andrew Jackson Elementary School in Milwaukee but dropped out after the third grade. While in Milwaukee, he worked at an automobile parts manufacturer. He moved to San Diego as a young man in the mid-1920s. It was during his time in San Diego that he also worked in organized crime and bootlegging alcohol. He eventually married Thelma Jane Sanfilip and had one child, a daughter named Mary Ann. He also had a grandson named Frank. His first home in San Diego was at 5878 Estelle Street before moving to Pacific Beach neighborhood later on. During World War II, Bompensiero also served in the United States Army from 1942 to 1943. Western rackets. Early in Bompensiero's crime career in San Diego in the 1920s, he met Jack Dragna in Los Angeles, who was the boss of the Los Angeles crime family. After seeing how fearless Bompensiero was, Dragna soon became his mentor. Bompensiero was then involved in bootlegging operations in San Diego during Prohibition. He was later convicted of a liquor violation in San Diego. His other early arrests were for possession of firearms, illegal gambling, kidnapping, and murder. Charges were dropped in most cases. He eventually served a year in McNeil Island Corrections Center for the liquor conviction and was released in 1933. Impressed with the young criminal, Dragna eventually made him a caporegime, placing him in charge of all of the LA family's interests in San Diego. Wanted for questioning in the Redondo Beach murder of mobster Les Brunman, Frank Bompensiero left California, but was able to return in 1941 after an innocent man was convicted of Brunman's murder. During the 1940s and 1950s, Bompensiero owned a San Diego music store with Gaspar Matranga and a horse race and wire service company. He also owned the Gold Rail Cafe in downtown at the U.S. Grand Hotel, a successful business that he owned with Tom Dragna's son Frank and nephew Louis. Bompensiero and his crew also co-owned and operated several bars in the downtown San Diego area where they often conducted loan sharking operations. During this time, Bompensiero was tabbed by Dragna as an extortion shakedown artist and hitman in San Diego and Los Angeles. He was involved in one of the attempts on Mickey Cohen's life at Cohen's business office on the Sunset Strip, and killed Cohen torpedo Nettie Herbert. Bomb's San Diego crew included Tony Mirabile, Paul Mirabile, Gaspar Matranga, Joe Adamo, Biagio Bonventre, and Joseph Lee Mandry. His close associates in the Los Angeles mob included Jimmy the Weasel Fratianno and Leo Lips Moseri, both of whom he teamed up with on multiple occasions to commit mob-sanctioned murders. In 1955, Bompensiero was convicted of bribery and conspiracy in an illegal liquor license transaction and was sentenced to 3 to 42 years in prison. He began his sentence at Chino in Chino. While in prison, his wife Thelma died of a stroke. Bompensiero was escorted from prison by the police so he could attend her funeral. He was later transferred to San Quentin State Prison in Northern California, the same prison where Jimmy Fratianno was serving a prison sentence for extortion. While Bompensiero was in prison, Mob boss Jack Dragna died of a heart attack, and attorney and mobster Frank Desimone took over the Los Angeles crime family. Desimone immediately demoted Bompensiero to soldier from Cuba regime, and appointed Tony Mirabile as the boss of San Diego. Outraged, Bompensiero later attempted to transfer to the Chicago outfit, but was unsuccessful. Johnny Rosselli later told Fradiano that he didn't want both Fradiano and Bompensiero to transfer to Chicago, because it would seem to Chicago like everyone who was a good worker wanted to leave the LA family. While on parole, Bompensiero worked several jobs for friends and associates to satisfy his parole work requirements. Soon Bompensiero had numerous new dealings in Las Vegas with Cleveland mobster and casino owner Modelites and Chicago outfit mobster Anthony Spilotro. He also counted retired Bonanno crime family boss Joseph Bonanno in Arizona, and John Rosselli as allies. Later, over a hit dispute, he had a falling out with Rosselli. In 1967, Bompensiero was arrested with Fradiano over a Fradiano Trucking Company dirt hauling union scheme where Jimmy's company had violated PUC regulations. This legal violation involved Jimmy and Jewel Fradiano's large trucking company, Fradiano Trucking. Under intense pressure, with he and Fradiano in the El Central jail, unable to make the high bail, Bompensiero agreed to become an undercover FBI informant, and the charges against him were eventually dropped. In the early 1970s, Bompensiero and Tony Spilotro started a large loan sharking operation in Las Vegas. In November 1975, acting as driver, Bompensiero helped Spilotro murder Tamara Rend, a multi-millionaire real estate broker and investor from San Diego. At that time, Rend was suing Alan Glick, the mob frontman in Las Vegas, to pay back a $2 million loan that she had made to him. Spilotro carefully snuck into Rend's house as she was ready to have tea, and fatally shot her with a .22 caliber handgun, equipped with a silencer, while Bompensiero drove the murder getaway car. FBI sting and murder. Since the death of Los Angeles boss Jack Dragna, Bompensiero had been highly critical of the new family leadership. Boss Dominic Brooklier, who never trusted Bompensiero, finally lost patience and decided to have him killed. Bompensiero was an extremely cautious gangster and proved difficult to kill. To make Bompensiero less cautious, Brooklier promoted him from soldier to Cuba regime. 6 months later, the Los Angeles family was still trying to get to Bompensiero. In 1977, the FBI set up a pornography sting business called Forex and used Bompensiero to convince the Los Angeles family to make an attempt to extort money from Forex. The sting operation worked, and Michael Rizzitello was given a subpoena by the FBI agents who ran Forex. After the Forex indictments in February 1977, Fradiano questioned Bompensiero about how he learned about Forex. Unsatisfied with Bompensiero's cagey responses, Fradiano became convinced that Bomp was an informant. A week later, on February 10, 1977, Frank Bompensiero was shot to death at close range with a silenced .22 caliber handgun while walking home after using a payphone outside an Arco station in the Pacific Beach neighborhood of San Diego. In 1978, Fradiano told law enforcement that mob associate Thomas Ricciardi had killed Bompensiero in return for membership in the Los Angeles family. When Ricciardi shot Bompensiero, Jack Lo was waiting in the getaway car. The government later charged Ricciardi with Bompensiero's murder, but he died of heart disease before the trial could start. The rest of the defendants were acquitted of murder at the trial, but were convicted of racketeering. Murders. The following is a list of confirmed murders that Bompensiero committed. Phil Galuzzo, February 28, 1939. Harold "Hooky" Rothman, August 18, 1948. Frank Borgia, 1951. Louis, Russian Louis Strauss, April 1953. Red Segunda, date unknown. See also List of unsolved murders. Citations. References: Romer, William F. The Enforcer Spilotro, The Chicago Mob's Man in Las Vegas, Dutton Adult, June 30, 1994. ISBN 0-8041-1310-6. Damaris, Ovid. The Last Mafioso. New York, Bantam, 1981. ISBN 0-553-20230-8. Bureau of Narcotics, U.S. Treasury Department. Mafia, The Government's Secret File on Organized Crime. HarperCollins Publishers 2007. ISBN 0-06-136385-5. Moore, Judith. A Bad Boy by 2009. ISBN 978-0-615-29879-5. Hearings before a special committee to investigate organized crime in interstate commerce. United States Senate.